Hi, I'm Sreenivasan. I talk about politics, technology, and more. Today I'm going to share some thoughts on cancel culture and why it's not what most people think it is. Senator Josh Hawley is a great example. Earlier this year, Simon & Schuster pulled the plug on a book deal with the senator because of his support for the January 6th rioters in the Capitol. A frequent critic of all things cancel culture and political correctness, Hawley found himself on the receiving end of things. He was so canceled that he had to go on some of the most watched cable television shows in the country to talk about how canceled he was.
On what ground did they cancel your book contract?
Well, they don't like the exercise of free speech, Tucker.
He then talked about how canceled he was on the floor of the Senate. He went on to detail the extent of his cancellation in an op-ed in the New York Post. Oh, to be muzzled like that in front of millions of people, and only for supporting a group of folks who wanted to overthrow the government. To me, that sounds more like consequence culture than cancel culture. According to polling from YouGov and others, half of America doesn't even know what the term means, and they don't really care. Unsurprisingly, one's ideology is a pretty solid indicator of how they view cancel culture. 26% of all Republicans put cancel culture in their list of the top 5 things facing this country. It's just 1% of liberals. 80% of people between the ages of 18 and 44 are at least somewhat familiar with the term, but they don't really rank it high as a crucial issue. They better settle in, however, because this is likely to be a culture war boogeyman they have to deal with for the rest of their lives. This will have electoral impact as young Republicans are absolutely embracing the issue as a core tenet of their identity, and a lot of it boils down to race. The largest block of young Republicans are white men, and 43% of young white men think that discrimination against white people has become as big a problem as discrimination against black people and other minorities. Half say that diversity efforts will harm white people. In short, it's going to be a long couple of decades. Free speech does not mean speech without consequences. In fact, it means you may well face the consequences for the things you say, and there may even be a movement created to actively counter the things you say. This is the marketplace of ideas that conservatives love so much, and it tends to be the people that most espouse its virtues who rail against it when it doesn't serve them. Like so much of what they do, it's grift, plain and simple. Society be damned.